friends, it's Carly and I'm back again with another review. So just a reminder from the last video, I am working now on our Venompool BAF series and we're going to be doing a video about every other day until we finish those. So at the end of my last video, I asked you guys to mention in the comments which of these figures you'd like to see next, and there was only one vote. So that is the figure we're going with. So just as a reminder, if you guys are interested in staying up to date on these videos, make sure to be subscribed to my channel. Make sure that your notifications bells are turned on. If you have a preference, mention it in the comments because if you're the only one, I'll definitely do it. And I will be sharing the day of or the day before when my next video will be coming over on the Annoying You with Friendship Facebook page, which you can find at Annoying Car, or on Instagram, your annoying friend Car with underspaces between all of the words. So make sure to check there to know when videos are coming up, have your notification bell turned on, and with all of that out of the way, we are taking a look at Miles Morales, Spider-Man. So, of course, in my last video, I talked a lot about how I wanted to sort of get away from some of the rote criticisms that I've had for figures lately, and sort of just evaluate if I can get any type of enjoyment out of these figures, which I think worked really well with our Ghost Spider review. And I also wanted to talk more about the characters themselves. So it would figure that Miles Morales would have the craziest, most difficult to suss out relationship of all time with Venom and his symbiote suit and absolute carnage, and there is so much to know that I just literally could not hone in on the best thing to tell you guys that you probably didn't already know. So I'm just gonna share little facts that I found out about Miles. One of them being, though, in absolute carnage, they sort of concluded that of all of the Spider-Men, that Miles is the strongest in some way. So maybe our Peter Parker that we're really used to is bigger and stronger, but Miles is a lot faster, and when it came down to breaking free of Carnage's control over his mind, he was the only one able to do it. So I thought that was a really interesting fact because he's a lot younger. He is sort of, I mean, it's a slightly different story. So I thought that was a really cool thing that he had the, mental capacity to sort of break a bond that nobody else was able to. There's also some really interesting stuff that I found out about Miles' relationship with Venom, which I would love for anyone to tell me what to read on this. But it was in, I think, Earth 616, where Miles, and this started in his Ultimate Comics, I think, when he was first introduced, that he, there was a conflict between he and Venom, and that is what caused his mother to be killed. But then later, when he was brought into the regular Marvel universe, that Venom became a mentor of his and they worked really closely together. So I'm really interested in seeing how those two stories end up working together. But Miles Morales is a character that I absolutely love. I think he is a perfect sort of foil to the Peter Parker we all sort of grew up with, and particularly we were recently playing through the Spider-Man video game, getting ready for Miles Morales to come out on PS5, and I love how Miles and Peter come together in that game. That game is so much fun. If you guys haven't played it, you absolutely should, but I cannot wait to see his game coming up. And what I like about Miles is that his story is independent and makes sense on his own. So his part of sort of all of the different versions of Spider characters is really just like unique and independent and isn't really sort of building a ton off of what other Spider heroes have done, if that makes sense. I just really like him as a unique, super young, interesting, fun character with like a lot of integrity and, all the struggles that Spider folk go through. So I am really excited about this figure. I do not have a Miles Morales in hand now. I have recently ordered one. So I just pre-ordered one that I should have at the first quarter of 2021. That is a 12th scale, but has like all kind, I forget the brand, but I'll tell you guys about it on my social media. Has all kinds of accessories. So I'm really excited for that one, but I did miss out on the Marvel Legends. So I'm really sad that I don't have a Miles head with this. Now, the Venompool BAF himself is gigantic. So expecting accessories really with all of these figures is, a little bit unreasonable, but some of them do have an additional head. So it's like, I don't understand why he doesn't. I would have really loved to have a Miles head with this. That said, the paintwork and the design of this symbiote suit is just sick. I really, really like the way that it looks. All of the detailing is really well done. I have great paintwork on mine, so I'm really happy with it. His huge hands and feet I love because they are sort of like reminiscent of a puppy's big hands and feet. And Miles to me is sort of the puppy of Spider-Man, if that makes sense, that he's like the young guy, sort of the baby of the group. And so I don't think that that was intentional. That's just what it makes me think of, but I really like it. And, you know, there's a lot good in the design and the paintwork, and it is spot on from what I was able to find for source material, which was also difficult because there's so much fan art out there. Unfortunately for me, there's something about this figure that it kind of stops there. There's something just sort of plain about him overall. I can't really put a finger on it, because I've played with this character or with this figure, and we're gonna go through the points of articulation, which I'm really happy with, you know, especially with these small bodied figures. In the past, I've had so many issues with loose parts, you know, particularly in the waist. When you go like this, he sort of wobbles around, not being able to get a great sense of center of gravity because they don't have an ab crunch or a lean back that works really effectively, not having a great range of motion in the arms. Those aren't issues this time, but there's just something plain about him that, even though the paintwork is the way that it was supposed to be and it's executed well for what they designed it to be, it feels like he's underworked, which like is a strange feeling. You know, sometimes a figure is overwrought where there are too many things going on. I saw that recently with like the accessories packs on the Super 7 Thundercats characters that I had. And you know, sometimes there is so much detail or so many different colors going on that you get bleeding or just a strange look. The AOA figures, a lot of those were overworked to me. It just feels like there should have been something more, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this in the comments, because I'm not sure what I'm feeling, why I don't feel 100% satisfied with this guy, but I just don't. There's nothing specifically wrong with him. Let's look at the articulate points real quick. He has a really nice range of motion in his head. I'm going to talk about his head again in a second. He's got a great, you know, overextension in his lateral lift, so he actually gets his arms up, which we don't see very often. I think that Ghost Spider was a little bit better, which is unusual, but great. You know, both are good. He has a great turn in his bicep, a nice elbow that works, a really flexible hand that is easy to move, which I like when it's like a gentle, you know, it doesn't take much to move them, because then you can get a lot more specific about how you want to target your pose. So the arms are great. Again, I said, as I've mentioned, he has a really good ab crunch forward, and he has a great lean back. So you're not missing that center of gravity for those action poses that you want on your spider figures. A great 360-degree turn in the waist. Not 100% necessary, but you guys know I want to see that. The lift in his legs isn't great, but he does turn out in the hips to give you a little bit more that you can really work with. So I'm not upset about that. There is flexibility there. He has the turn in the thigh, a really great knee that works beautifully, and he has that strange foot that we saw on Wild Child in the AOA series where it's like plunked onto the ankle. So this is, I didn't like it on that, I don't like it on this. So he doesn't get a forward and back motion like he should, because the foot is so oversized to the ankle. So the only motion that you're getting is like this weird 360 type thing going on here, which is not practical. It rocks back and forth. It's not useful. It's not good looking. For this character, for me, the big hands and feet worked as a look, but as a functional, you know, usable part to do anything other than have him stand flat-footed, these feet don't work. And any Spider-Man character has to be able to point their toes. That's just all there is to it, and this one can't. So that's a problem for me. With his head, my issue is maybe this is part of it, that there, you know, if we had a Miles head, I might feel differently about the figure overall. I might, the sort of plain look of his suit from kind of the chest, mid-chest down, how it's just sort of blank, which I know is how Miles' suit is as well, but maybe that would be better if we could swap out and have a Miles head. In that case, I might just look for the other Miles figure and do that. Or maybe with the new one I get, maybe it'll work. Maybe I can negotiate that for myself. But the head is strange. There is something very, I don't know, froggy or like lizard-like about it. It's very angular. It's just difficult to describe. There isn't anything wrong with it. That is sort of how Venomized characters look. But for me, this guy, it's not reading Miles for sure. And I think they could have given him a little bit more. That said, every single point of articulation functions perfectly, except for the foot. Not having a pointing toe on any type of version of a Spider-Man character is just not acceptable. And I'm going to shake my finger at Hasbro for that, because it has to be, they have to be able to do the classic poses that we love them doing. In every other respect, he should be able to, and he should be really good. So I think I'm going to like this, as I'm getting into the wave, I think I'm going to like this wave on my shelf together, just loving the sort of cohesiveness of the group. Whether each character is going to read for me as who they're supposed to be kind of remains to be seen. Ghost Spider was a win, and I love having her on my shelf here. I'm going to stand Miles next to her, and I think that he'll read side by side with her, but on his own, I'm not so sure. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let's take another really good look at him up close. Does this read Miles to you? If I am missing source material, you know that I am. Tell me what to read. Tell me if you love this, what I need to pick up to know about him and to like really get into this figure, because you guys know if it's anything related to the Spider-Verse, I want to be into it so bad. So let me know. Put in the comments what you would add or take away from this figure, because I really, like I said, I just can't hone in on what the thing is that I don't think they did correctly, but it just doesn't feel right. It's such a strange feeling. So tell me what you guys think. I don't hate this guy, but like I said, he doesn't read Miles to me. He just seems like a kind of a cool symbiote type character, and I'm down for that. I think as a collection, they're gonna look really great together, but I really wish this was a little bit more Miles. So share with me in the comments what you think about this particular figure, what Miles Morales I need to read to know more about this guy, and in the comments, let me know what the next figure from the series you want me to review is, because if you tell me to do it, I absolutely will. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for your comments and for being so encouraging about the tiny mini hiatus that I took and coming back. It's really great to hear positive things from you. I'm glad that you guys are still enjoying what I'm doing, and as long as you like them, I will keep making them. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back in a day and a half with another one. Bye, friends.